Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Board District 5's virtual back to school night. I couldn't be more excited about opening school if we were actually going back to classes. My name is Jackie Goldberg, and I'm proud to represent Board District 5. But before we begin our webinar, I would like to take care of a few housekeeping items.
Buenas noches a todos y bienvenidos a la noche virtual de regreso a la escuela del Distrito 5 de la Junta. Si volviéramos a la escuela, ¿no? Mi nombre es Jackie Goldberg y estoy orgullosa de representar al Distrito 5. Antes de comenzar, me gustaría repasar algunos puntos generales.
First of all, you can listen to this webinar in English or Spanish. For Spanish, you click the interpretation button at the bottom of your Zoom window and then select Spanish. We have wonderful interpreters from LAUSD's translation unit translating everything that's being said. So again, if you're at a computer and want to listen in Spanish, click the interpretation button at the bottom of your Zoom window and then select Spanish.
Primero que nada, pueden escuchar este webinario en inglés o en español. Para el español, hagan clic en el botón Interpretación que está en la parte inferior de la ventana de Zoom. Luego seleccionen español. Tenemos a nuestras maravillosas intérpretes de la unidad de traducción de LAUSD traduciendo todo lo que se dice. Así que de nuevo, si están en sus computadoras y quieren escuchar en español, hagan clic en el botón Interpretación en la parte inferior de la ventana de Zoom y luego seleccionen español.
If you have any trouble switching the language to Spanish using the interpretation button, you can also use your phone to call into our Spanish audio line, which is already up and running. The number and access code for that are on the invitation for this event.
Si tienen algún problema para cambiar el idioma al español usando el botón de interpretación, también pueden usar su teléfono para llamar a nuestra línea de audio en español que ya está activada. El número y el código de acceso están en la invitación para este evento.
Second, we have American Sign Language interpreters as well. To continue to see them throughout the town hall, please just make sure to keep your Zoom, make sure it's set to gallery view so that you can see all of us at once. If you're viewing on a mobile device, just swipe left until you can see the multiple panelists on your screen. Because this is an informational meeting, we're not going to be having a question and answer session like we normally do. But you can email to us any questions you still have at the end of the session to bd5info@lausd.net. That's bd5info@lausd.net. And we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Before I go over how this meeting will unfold, I'd want to encourage everyone who hasn't done so to please take a moment at the end of this meeting and go to 2020census.gov to complete your census form. It's very important to all of us. I also want to welcome all our panelists. I'm so happy that they were able to join us. First, we're going to hear from the director of LAUSD's Division of Instruction, Allison Yoshimoto Tauri, who's going to give us a rundown of what to expect during the first week of school. Then we'll hear from Jose Gonzalez from the district's Information Technology Department. Boy, is that an important person to have around, who's going to talk to us about devices and getting online and staying online. After that, you'll hear Mary Bell Luna from the Division of Special Education, then Dean Tagawa, Executive Director of Early Education, and finally, they're from Joel Cisneros of Student Health and Human Services. After they've presented sort of, here's what's going to happen this week, we're going to have brief introductions from a number of our community schools administrators because they are part of the solution to any problem that arises once school begins. We're so happy to welcome all of them to our board district. Thank you all for joining us, and so let's get to it. Allison, you're on.
Hi, thank you so much, Board Member Goldberg. Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Allison Towery, the Chief Academic Officer, and just wanted to walk you through very briefly what the first week would look like of school. School starts next Tuesday. And I will share my screen if that's okay. And I hope everybody could see that. This is a sample calendar. I'll show it in Spanish in just a moment. But as you can see, that the last day for students to have summer vacation is on Monday. Teachers, however, are coming back on Monday, and they're getting ready and prepared for the students and to have what we call professional development, time together to learn, to prepare, and to plan. This is very, it's a packed, let's see. Oh, we're in a webinar, so I can't share my screen. Okay, if you can see in the morning, on Tuesday morning, there's actually gonna be a family student orientation. And what that means is that families and students can take that orientation. You're gonna take it on your own because teachers are still gonna be planning on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in the morning, okay? And we're gonna be sending out a mailer to your home if your student needs to remember what their email address is and what their login is. That should arrive on Monday. So if you don't remember what your student's email address is, please look for that mailer or call your school in the meantime. And it ends with mymail.lusd.net. That's the student's email address. They need that to log in on Monday morning into Schoology. Schoology is our learning management system. And there's some topics that students are going to study on their own. And it's going to be learning how to learn online, how to set up your space in your home, how to stay engaged, some of the help tools that help videos that we have online. And again, it'll be, those will be posted on our website as well. So if for some reason you can't log in to Schoology, or maybe you're starting school for the first time in kindergarten and you're not sure where to go, you can certainly access those at lausd.net. But we are encouraging everyone to try to log in because we want to practice logging in on that day.
And this is on Tuesday, right?
This is on Tuesday morning, the 18th. And then on Tuesday afternoon, your principal is going to let you know. They're going to send home a phone call, and they're going to let you know what time their principal virtual welcome is going to be in the afternoon on Tuesday. And that, again, will be school by school, but you'll get to meet your principal, hear from them, so that you can begin that relationship and feel connected. And that's all happening on Tuesday. Okay. Will we be taking
roll on Tuesday?
Yes.
Will we be taking attendance?
We will be. We will be taking attendance on Tuesday. And so the way that you get your attendance taken on that day is by either logging into Schoology, right? To download we have a little checklist for you. I could show you that in a moment. To download your checklist, and it has little activities for you to do all day. And then you log into Schoology and say something that you learned. That's how you take your attendance. And then you go to the principal's virtual welcome. And that's another way you can get your attendance taken. We'll be able to see who comes on and who's able to join. On Wednesday, it's the same process. There's 2 modules for students and families to take together. And again, if you can't take it in the morning because somebody's working and you can't take it until the evening, that's okay too. We don't want anyone to worry. But you can do the family orientation. We suggest at 9 o'clock, but I know in my family, we might be doing it in the evening because that's when, you know, we might be available to do it with our students or with our children, and that's okay. But those 2 modules get taken: online safety, digital citizenship, and managing your own health and well-being. They're short little videos, like 10 minutes each. And then in the afternoon on Wednesday, the 19th, you're gonna meet your teacher. And then on Thursday is when regular schedule starts. And that's 9 a.m. in the morning with your teacher. I'll show the Spanish version. 9 a.m. in the morning on Thursday and 9 a.m. on Friday. And it's always gonna be logging in the morning to Schoology. It's lms.lausd.net, and you need that username and that password, okay? And so again, we really want to practice with that. We're calling this first week Smart Start, and that we're all starting and learning together. We don't want anyone to feel left behind or feel nervous about it. We're going to practice, and we'll help if there are any troubles. We'll get you online. That's what we're all here for. Okay, but you'll see here in Spanish as well the different topics for the student online independent work, and then also the afternoon with the principal on the Tuesday and afternoon with the teacher on Wednesday. So with that, I will take down the calendar. These calendars have also been shared with your schools. And so you may have see these on your websites or whatnot. And then I will show one example, if that's okay. I can show one example of a check sheet so you know what the checklist looks like. And we can go from there. Actually, I'm having trouble pulling it up. Maybe I could show that later. Just know that there's a checklist that you will have, students will have, that you can see. Oh, here we go. Technology. Can everybody see that checklist? So this is a sample of a checklist that when you log into Schoology, you will see a checklist that looks like this. And you don't have to print it. You don't have to fill it out. You don't have to, write on it if you don't have a printer. But it's just something to mentally do. And it takes you through doing the digital courses. It tells you where to go, LMS here. And basically has you set up a morning routine to talk with your family about what your morning routine is going to be. Get up, brush your teeth, eat your breakfast, change into your school clothes. We want you to change into your school clothes. It'll make you feel better. Set up your learning space, and then every day, time for exercise, time to complete some mindfulness tasks, and then time for academics as well. And so each grade span will have a checklist that looks like this as well. And you'll have that available to you in your Schoology folder on the first day. So I'm going to pause here because we have a lot of speakers, and I will stay on in case we need to answer. I know we're not answering questions, but I'll stay on in case we need to add some more information. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And next we're going to hear from Mr. Jose Gonzalez from Information Technology. Mr. Gonzalez. I see him, but I don't see him live.
Hey, sorry about that. I always have a hard time finding my mute button. First of all, thank you all for having me here. I know Josh has a presentation, but I do want to kind of kick it off by saying that we've been working very closely with Allison, our COSAs, our local districts, to make sure that all of our schools have all of the necessary technology equipment. That includes computers, internet connectivity. We've come a long way from, it feels like it's been years. The team has been putting in, 7-hour long work, 7 day long, 24/7 basically we've been working. And so it's been interesting. The team's very excited. We have procured many devices. And so Josh, if you want to pull up our presentation, I'm not sure if it's showing yet. Awesome. Thank you. And so this has basically become the distance learning project. We were fortunate enough to have the Bond Oversight Committee approve our funding. And if we could go to the next slide, I could talk a little bit about that. So the distance learning project is LA Unified's response to the coronavirus outbreak to ensure continuity of student education. We were able to basically look at every single school site and their enrollment and find out how many devices our schools were missing. We basically came up with the number of 185,000, almost 186,000 devices that have basically been procured over the last 3 months. And so it's been a lot of work, a lot of partnerships with various different manufacturers, including Apple, Samsung, Dell, HP, Lenovo, Ari Jones, And so we're really at that point that every school has enough devices for every student. And then on top of that, we also worked with with Verizon, and T-Mobile, which helped us secure hotspots for our students. So it's we're making sure that there's kind of an end-to-end ability for our schools to be empowered to connect all of our students. So we've come a long way, and at this point, there's a few schools that need a few more devices, but we're there. And if any schools do need devices, they pretty much reach out to their COSA and their local district. And we can go on to the next slide. And so obviously these devices support our overall strategic alignments to district priorities. So we're providing devices and internet access to all students. This has basically become the equivalent of making sure that our students have access to the internet and their teachers. Obviously, we want to make sure that our students can attend classes, whether it be virtually or via online assignments, via our learning management system, Schoology. And so ensuring the instructional continuity has been an essential part of this. And we can go to the next slide, Josh. So this was our project schedule. The team worked arduously to make sure that we were able to get these devices. As you must already understand, this was a nationwide crisis. There were a lot of school districts, a lot of medical offices in dire need of devices. I want to thank our leadership, our board members, Jackie, Austin Butner, Allison, Sohel Katal, our CIO, and Megan Riley, our deputy superintendent, who all pretty much jumped in. We were able to get these orders in early enough so that we can make sure that our students had devices before the school year ended. And now as the school year starts, we're definitely in really good shape and ensuring that our students have functional devices and internet connectivity. As you could see, the project wrapped up in June, and now schools should be ready to go and have the devices they need to get our students connected. And I think there's one more slide. So this was a $77 million project, 100% bond funded, except for our hotspots. And so those were actually general fund funded, and were essential, obviously. One thing to add is that our K through second grade students did get iPads that already have internet. So they did not have a need for a hotspot. They are already connected. And those iPads can actually share internet connectivity as well if there's maybe a sibling that needs internet on their device. The majority of our deployments are Chromebooks and Apple iPads. There are a few Windows out there, and Windows devices, and that was per the request of each school. So that's kind of a lower number in total. And I think this is the last slide. There are no questions, but
I do have one question. So I get up in the morning, I turn on my computer, and nothing happens. Who helps me? Where do I get help?
So there's a few resources. One of which is the school site. So the school site can definitely help out, and that's the first place that folks should go. The second place would be to reach out to COSA administrators. And then there is a COVID hotline at 213-443-1300. And that line is not just for IT support, but it's anything around COVID. They are getting a lot of calls, and we've been able to help out a lot of parents and even students, staff as well. So during this crisis, so that is a hotline that is Monday through Friday and Saturdays actually right now from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Repeat that one more time.
Sure. So the number is 213-443-1300.
And we will have that on our website and all our social media in case anybody needs it. Okay,
Absolutely.
very, very good. Because, you know, you are a critical, as you know, part of this whole process, and we're very glad to have you here.
Absolutely. Great to be here. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to hear from Maribel Luna from the Division of Special Education.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me, Board Member Goldberg. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna, if we can pull up my slides, that'd be great. And I'm just going to speak a bit as to what school will look like, not only the first week, but also beyond for our students with disabilities. Thank you. I just wanted to mention that we can go to the next slide. It's just that, you know, our students with disabilities will also start on August 18th. We will be taking attendance. We are very much in alignment with what Ms. Towery mentioned about our general education students. And so they will follow the same schedules. The school starts at 9 a.m. and it goes to 2:15, but it's synchronous and asynchronous instruction. Students are not online the entire time. It includes a lunch and a break there also. So I want you to keep that in mind. Our students, although they will have the same schedule, we will be accommodating for more breaks or small group sessions, etc., within that same time frame. We're going to continue to provide our services virtually, and we will have live daily interaction to align with Senate Bill 98. But just wanted to make it clear that a lot of what General Ed is doing, our students with disabilities are also doing. They're following the same schedule, where on Tuesday, they will have asynchronous instruction, they will have a checklist, and then they will meet their principal, and on Wednesday, again, asynchronous instruction with the videos, a checklist, and they will meet their teacher. Next slide, please. And so here's a little of what you can expect. If your student is in a special day program, they'll continue to receive instruction from their teacher, their special day program teacher, and they'll have it live. They'll have some live instruction, and they'll have some asynchronous instruction, which means they can be given some work to do, a task to do. Some students may be in small group session, while the others are working independently in asynchronous instruction. If your student receives resource services, our resource teachers will provide services according to the IEP. Some may be in a push-in setting where they participate in the live session with the teacher and the students. They may also consult with the teacher and collaborate with the general education teacher. And they can also provide services in a breakout session. So when they're in the virtual session, they could actually take a group of students and break out and provide services that way. Or also they may provide services independently to a group of students aside from the general ed classroom. We also have students on the alternate curriculum, and these students, their curriculum is unique learning system, and we do have a virtual piece to that, and our students can access that through Schoology. And again, they will be receiving both synchronous instruction and asynchronous instruction with breaks in between and working to accommodate and modify as per their IEP. Our special education paraprofessionals will also be participating in the remote instruction. They will be on the Zooms or whatever platform it is the teacher is using for the live instruction. They will also be able to participate in breakout rooms and have smaller group sessions, and they're going to be working with their teachers to just do the best to support our students with disabilities. Next slide, please. So we get a lot of questions about this, and so I wanted to make sure to touch on this. These are our related service providers, adapted PE, occupational therapy, speech and language services. So I want you all to know that they're going to be contacting parents during the first 2 weeks of school. It's part of their initial contact, and they'll be scheduling the service sessions. Now, some of them have very large caseload, so it will take them longer to get to all of the parents, but they will be contacting parents during the first 2 weeks of school. They're also going to collaborate with their teachers and our other service providers to coordinate schedules and services for our students. Some students have more than one service provider. They may have adapted PE and occupational therapy, so we want to make sure that we're not scheduling them at the same time. And they will be providing, for the most part, live services. And so they will be working on via a live platform to provide services for the students. If there's a case where students cannot, for whatever reason, or prefer not to, or the parents ask that students not receive synchronous services, then we will work to provide services other ways. And they will have 1 hour per week for you to communicate with them. They'll let you know what their office hours are. And this is the time that they will be answering emails, contacting parents, and available for you to contact them with any questions. Next slide, please. Our assessments, due to our county and state health safety orders, we are still not engaging in any in-person assessments by any licensed or credentialed staff. And our formal assessments for special education do require a licensed or credentialed person to administer them in order for them to be normed and be valid. And so at this time and for the start of the school year, we will not be conducting formal assessments. Next slide, please.
But we do intend, as soon as we're allowed to be adding that back in. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely. As soon as we're able to provide in-person services, we will start with our assessments. Thank you, Ms. Goldberg. Our IEP meetings. So we've had some success with our virtual IEP team meetings. Some parents really appreciate being able to join virtually. So we're going to continue them during virtual instruction. But when we do return to in-person services, whether it be hybrid or full back to school, we will still have them as an option, and we will also include our in-person IEP meetings. Next slide. This is where you can call. If you first start at the school site, as board member Goldberg said, always start at the school site with your administrator, with your teachers, and get support there. But if you still have questions, if you still need further support, please do call the hotline at 213-241-6701. And somebody there will help direct your call, and we will make sure that you receive the services that you need and the supports that you need. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, and I want to just repeat again that if at the end of this webinar, you still have questions, you can, and you can't find out from your school or the COSA or from the people who have been speaking today, bd5info@lausd.net, and we'll track down the answer for you. bd5info@lausd.net. Next, we're going to hear from Dr. T. Tagawa about the wee ones.
Thank you, Jackie.
Sorry,
Great.
Dr. Tagawa, just before you start, I just have to make a quick announcement because we have a lot of new attendees that just joined us. Our Facebook live stream did not work because of some new protocol that Facebook put in place. So a lot of people were not able to see the first 25 minutes of this session. Now we've upped the capacity to 1,000. We were capped at 500 before. So now everybody should be able to join unless we have more than 1,000, which would be great. Basically, we are going to post a recording of the entire session on our social media accounts and on our website after the session is over tonight. So for those of you who were not able to see the first 25 minutes, do not worry. You will be able to see those 25 minutes later tonight. Sorry for the interruption. Thank you for all of our new attendees who are joining, and spread the word to anybody else who wasn't able to get in if you know of those people. Thank you.
So now you know why technology was right after instruction, right? Dr. Tagawa, you're on.
Thank you, Jackie. And thank you, everybody who's participating in this virtual town hall with Back to School Night. I'll go ahead and I'll get started, but I lead the Division of Early Childhood Education, and I like to say it's supporting our kids who are 4 feet and under. So if we can put up the slide, we'll go ahead and we'll get started for the first part. I think it's really important that for early education that we remember what we're focusing on. And if we can go to the second slide, it's important that as we work with our young ones that we never forget that they're focused on their social emotional well-being. And I think for kids in this distance learning environment, whether they're at school or whether they're at home. They need to continue to have those communications with loved ones, whether it's via on screen or in person or by phone or a phone call. They still need to have that communication. And if we can go to the next slide, I'll just talk a little bit about the beginning of our school year. For some of our early ed centers, they've been in place since July 1. So we've gotten really used to this distance learning. But for our kids who are coming on in our expanded TK programs and our state preschool programs that kind of follow the traditional school year, I have to tell you, your teachers are going to be so ready for the beginning of the year. We've put over 1,100 of them through training this week on distance learning. They have lessons that are full of activities. Their kids are jumping up and down. They're doing jumping beans. They're doing exercises. They're screaming out letters. And we're going to utilize these small groups, but all of the lessons are designed to be very interactive. They're focused on the whole child and kinder readiness skills. So what that day is going to look like, it's going to be actually very exciting. So our teachers will be going through with the same trainings as the elementary folks next week, following those same schedules. But for our state preschool programs and our ETK, just know that the lessons that are coming for them are going to be a lot of fun. And you're going to see, just like these faces on this screen, you're going to see a lot of kids jumping around. So that's pretty exciting. What we're hoping to do, and we can go to the next slide. So what can you do at home? Hey, help your kids establishing those routines, work on those interactions, have fun, find time to play with them. And in each one of these lessons that the teachers will be bringing, we're going to be bringing little ways to parent tips on teaching fun ways and teaching fun ways for the kids to develop their skill and their overall understanding as they get ready for kindergarten. Go ahead. And so what's the district doing? Well, we're working really hard. You heard from Jose Gonzalez that it's been tough to get devices because there's just such a back order. But we're excited because hopefully we're gonna be getting devices very soon. The district has made this a priority. The district is working on getting these devices to our kids. And I have to say, our devices for our little ones will definitely be touchscreen oriented. Having a keyboard for a 3- and 4-year-old is probably not going to help them a whole lot, but touchscreen devices will be awesome for them. And then in the meantime, we've created on our early ed website, and you can see it up here, there's at-home resources for families. So if you want to do extra games, you want to learn how to make Play-Doh, it's there. So all of our teachers, again, will be working with your kids, live teaching starting next week. So we're pretty excited for that. And we're also, and I have to put that last bullet, we're really eager for them to return because it's different when you don't have a chance to work directly with your little ones. So we're pretty excited. Thank you, Jackie, for this opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about early ed, but we're excited for the 2021 school year.
So if a parent has a child with an IEP, how do they get enrolled in early ed?
So a lot of times, Jackie, a lot of times they come over from the regional centers when they turn from age 3, age 3. Our preschool intake teams are awesome. They'll make sure that they get the setup and the services they need. And if it's plugging into one of our preschool collaborative classrooms, we'll make it happen. And we work a lot with preschool special ed. So it's almost kind of like we're one and the same. So it's pretty neat.
Very good. Okay, now we're going to hear from, let's see, I think we're up to Student Health and Human Services and Joel Cisneros, or is it Joel Cisneros?
Either one.
Either way, you're on.
Yes, thank you. My parents call me Joel, so I know we're in a circle of trust. So
I had a hunch.
yes, thank you. So welcome everyone. Thank you for the opportunity, Board Member Goldberg. It's always a pleasure to work alongside you and represent the support for your district. One of the things I wanted to start off by saying that I think many people are very excited for the beginning of the school year, and rightfully so, right? Like we're ready to go. And one tip that I want to share as my slides get uploaded is I really encourage people to use those routines that you've used in the past. I know like many people at the very beginning of the school year like to take those pictures of their children. I have 2 young boys and we always like to do that. right? We always like to start the fresh school year with taking pictures. And I think what that does is we want to make sure that kids feel that you're honoring whatever, you've done in the past, right? We want to make sure that the kids feel that same excitement that they did last year, even though it's going to be a little bit different, right? We're not going back physically, but we're still starting a new school year. And that's very, very big news, right? So we want to make sure we honor that. And all that to say as well is, I know everyone may be feeling very stressed, and it's normal, right? It's very normal to feel stressed right now because we're all dealing with so much, right? We're all trying to manage either situations at home, either with our family members. We may be impacted, from a financial impact or health impact, whatever it may be, right? We're all trying to figure this out together. So Student Health and Human Services is here to support you and support your school site with whatever need that you may have. So next slide, please. So if you visit achievelausd.net, SHHS, this is what you will see. You will see this slide, and then you will see this website. At this website, you can find a lot of information that is there to support you. It's just a click away, and we're here to support you with whatever needs that you may be having. From mental health, I'm the director of mental health, so we're here to support you. If you have an issue with that you're feeling a little too stressed, or your child, you've noticed something different, contact your principal, and they know how to reach us. We'll be there in a moment's notice. Next slide, please. And aside from that, we also, Student Health and Human Services, I'm also representing the division today, but we also have a whole nother, we have a deep bench. We have a lot of players here to support you. So if you're having questions around whatever basic need that you may be having, you may be having enrollment questions, for example, you may be having questions around how to get access healthcare, or you may be, have questions around homeless or foster youth, or maybe vaccinations. Imagine that. We need to worry about vaccinations. And all those things are just a touch away if you call our hotline. So next slide, please. Our hotline number is 213-241-3840. Again, 213-241-3840. We're there Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And we have very, very dedicated individuals here to support you. And I know, like I said, this is a stressful moment. There's no need for you to feel like you're in this alone. I think that's the worst thing that you can do. We're here to support you. I know it may feel like, you can't connect with someone physically, but just know that, just like Board Member Goldberg is so committed to doing this work, and every single person that you've heard from today and you will be hearing later today, we're all here to support you. So just either call the hotline number, reach out to your principal, call the school, and we'll provide you with those supports. Thank you.
Very good, very, very good. So now we're going to begin to hear from COSAs. What's a COSA? Let's maybe start with that. All right, let's try Ruben Valles. Will you tell us what a COSA is, and then introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, good evening. Thank you, Board Member Goldberg. Yes, a COSA is an acronym, and it stands for Community of School Administrator. And so in the new format, of pushing our services closer to schools to support them in a more geographic closer setting, we've moved our offices in the areas in the communities that we serve. And my name is Ruben Valles. I am the Community of Schools Administrator, the proud Community of Schools Administrator for the Bell Cudahy Maywood Community of Schools. And I want to thank Board Member Goldberg for hosting this town hall. And it's a great way to get information out to parents. We recently had a town hall on Tuesday, and we had over 500 parents log on. So it's a great way to disseminate information, et cetera, to parents. Now, if Josh could please put up my slides, and we'll go ahead and get started. I just have a few slides I wanted to share talking about the Bell Cudahy Maywood Community of Schools. I don't know if they're going to be able to come up, the slides. There we go. Okay. So our principals and our staff are really, really gearing up for the start of school. As I make the rounds during the week, for example, at Nueva Vista on the top left, all of our schools are making care packages and grab and go packages for the first day of school. So the books, crayons, etc., devices, and everything that the kids will need for a school setting in the home environment. Also, if you look on the right side, we have our maces. Maywood Academy, Maywood Center for Rich Studies. Our 9th and 10th graders were collecting their books and getting their devices. And then on the bottom, we have our kindergartners and our at Heliotrope who are getting their orientation and their devices. So the principals are really gearing up with the teachers and all staff to make sure that the students are prepared for the start of school. Now in the Balcony Maywood schools, we can be contacted at bcmcos@lausd.net. If you have a Mac, just press Control-Shift-4 and take a screenshot. Or if you have a PC, it's easier, just press the print screen. You can take it, that we have a picture of that. If we can go to the next slide, please. So at the Belcott Maywood Community of Schools, we also have social media, and our philosophy and our mission statement is students first, achievement through equity. And through the cooperation of all our principals, we said, what are we gonna do what's gonna be our vision and our mission for the schools and supporting students? And so we came up with students first, achievement through equity. We wanna make sure that every decision we make, students are first and foremost on our mind, and also wanna make sure that we help them gain achievement and academic excellence through an equity-based standard. And also, if you want to get a hold of us through email, you can do that through bcmcos@lausd.net, or follow us on Twitter or Instagram, and there's our handles right there on the bottom. You may take a screenshot of that as well if you want to make sure you have that information. And the next slide. So in the Belcott Maywood Community of Schools, we have 19 schools, and I have an A through G director that supports me. So if you look on the left side, this is a screen you really want to take a screenshot of because it has all our principals and all our schools. Now the schools that I meet, I am responsible for supervising all schools, but since I have a director who supports me, her bank of schools are on the right and my bank of schools are on the left. And I have the principal's name and their email addresses. So again, any problem or any concern, whether it's a device or a book or a hotspot, you should always go to the school first, because usually, and 99.9% of the time, those problems are going to be resolved at the school. And we have very capable principals and staff that are going to be able to resolve any concern that you have. Now, if they need our support, then they will reach out to us. But again, if you have trouble getting a hold of them, please definitely reach out to us and we will forward that email to the right person. But again, those are all the emails and all the names of our principals at all of our schools. So please take a screenshot of that. And if you have any questions, reach out to them first. And then our next slide. And then finally, this is our Belcott Maywood team. We are based at the Park Avenue School offices. We have 6 bungalows in the back of the school. Again, we're at Park Avenue, and if you have any questions, feel free to please reach out to us. So again, thank you for the time, Board Member Goldberg, and I'd like to introduce my counterpart in Southgate, Mr. Jesus Nunez.
Thank you, Mr. Valles. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Jesus Nunez. I am the Community of Schools Administrator for all of the wonderful schools in the city of Southgate. I want to thank Board Member.
I'm going to interrupt you just a moment. The ASL interpreter's video is off, and that's crucial because they have to use their hands to, there we go. Thank you. I'm sorry to bother.
No, that's okay. Of course. In just a second, I'll be sharing my screen. So if people can allow me to share my screen in just a second. I want to thank Board Member Goldberg for having us here this afternoon. It's very important to share everything we possibly can with our families and with our students, all of our stakeholders. We know communication is pivotal during these times. And we hope that this message tonight, this town hall, it really supports you in that way. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And here is our website for our Community of Schools Southgate. Everything you need to know about the schools in Southgate is contained in this website. All the schools are here. They're there. Parent guardian information for students, for teachers, about us. We have many, many sections dedicated for supporting students, teachers, and parents. So please, it's at sgcost.lausd.net, sgcost.lausd.net. And we also have wonderful day one resources. So if you're a parent and you have some questions about technology, what do I do at Schoology? How do I get all that? Well, you come to our site, you click this widget here, which is a shortcut. Click to view Day 1 Start Guide for Parents. You click that, and lo and behold, you'll be introduced to many, many resources and videos in English and Spanish that will help you activate your Schoology account, logging into Schoology, many, many Schoology resources for parents, creating a parent portal account, pins, viewing grades, navigating Schoology, many, many resources for our parents to access. So we're very proud of that. We also have resources for students. So students can click on student support, kind of generic tips to helping students learn from home, and resetting MyMail passwords. We are uploading content on a daily basis. So we just want to make sure that our parents and our students are connected, as well as our teachers. So we have resources for all of those individuals. So we hope that all of the wonderful people in the city of Southgate can join us at sgcos.lausd.net. Thank you very much.
All right, and my name is Gerardo Loera.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Up next is Mr. Gerardo Loera. He is a Community of Schools Administrator. My colleague, my planning partner, he is the COSA for the schools in Walnut, Vernon, and Huntington Park. Gerardo.
Thank you, Jesus. Good evening, everybody. It's we've been on for almost an hour, so I do want to ask Josh to let us. Let me share my screen here in a moment. I will not show too many slides, but I do want to give you some really pertinent information. I just want to highlight a couple of very big differences that all parents and students should experience as the new school year begins. That was different from the spring, for example. So starting on Tuesday, the first day of school, all students will begin daily instruction. They will participate daily following a bell schedule or schedule that was set up by their individual school. So there's going to be a lot more structure than there was in the spring. That's a huge difference. All students are going to experience a portion of live instruction, which is live online teaching, as well as independent activities. Activities that are given to the students by their teacher to complete at a time that's most convenient for them. And if it's working with you as their parent at a time that's convenient for you, then maybe that's what will work best for your individual situation. That's often referred to as asynchronous teaching. So that's something that's going to be uniform across the school district. And I just wanted to make sure we were really clear about that. So hopefully I'll be able to share my screen here. So I want to just to briefly have you meet our team at our community of schools. We have a very dedicated, devoted team working in everything from operations to parent support to supporting our teachers and principals throughout the year in elementary and secondary, secondary math and English. We'll be adding a science position as well to support all of our schools. We currently are supporting these schools. So take a look at this list. If your child is attending any of these schools, you belong to the Huntington Park, Walnut Park, Vernon Community of Schools. And so we're all very happy to get to know you, to get to meet you. If you've been with us already for a year, then hopefully you'll get to know us even better this coming year going forward. Similar to what Jesus just shared over at Southgate, we have our own website. I will not show you the website because we're short on time, but I do want to give you a link to it. We do have very similar resources to what Southgate has in terms of what to do day one. Huntington Park, cos.lausd.net is the name of our website. Again, huntingtonpark.cos.lausd.net. We encourage you to connect there. You can always also follow us on Twitter at HPCOS1 is our handle for Twitter. We have a couple of phone numbers for you on the screen. I'm giving you a moment to keep them down. You can give us a call during regular school day hours. and somebody who can speak to you personally. We can also follow us on Facebook should you want to be up to date on what are the specific things that are going on through our community of schools. And so with that, I just want to say thank you for hanging with us this evening. And then I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Carlos Montes, a colleague and a fellow community of school administrator.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. I appreciate that. I want to send my thanks as well to Board Member Goldberg, and thank you for the invite tonight. As has been mentioned, we are running a little bit short on time. I don't know if my slides will be coming up right now, but I only included two quick slides. Number one, I am a new community of schools administrator. We are just starting out this year in local district central. It is a Jefferson South Central community of schools, and we actually encompass 39 schools, going all the way from LA Academy Middle School off of Slauson, all the way toward 9th Street on the other side, or toward downtown LA. So there are quite a bit of schools. I'm glad that that screenshot is there, as you'll have enough time to both screenshot it or write it down. We are at jeffersonsouthcentralcause.lausd.net. And if you're interested, you could go on there and you can see many of the wonderful resources that have already been talked about. Again, every day there's updates being made. If you're interested in finding out exactly where your child's school is located or what cause it's located in, because it is new to local district central, I welcome you to please go there. There's been a lot of great information that has already been shared tonight, and I believe by looking at the chat that you're all aware that this recording will be posted on Ms. Goldberg's site, which is great. I welcome you to please go back and listen to it again, because there's been a lot of great information that has already been shared. I would like to tell you that our next town hall for the Jefferson South Central Community of Schools is coming up on August 25th. So please join us at that time. You'll be able to get to meet the growing team of our community of school, our office team. But for now, you can take a look there. That's myself right there at the top as a COSA, and you can reach me at cmont3@lausd.net. And Dr. Elizabeth Bernal, who is actually serving as our lead director, and you can see her email, elizabeth.bernal@lausd.net. We are at the offices ready to assist you in any way that we can. But as has already been mentioned, your first step is to go to your school site and reach out to your teachers and your principals, because more likely than not, they're going to be the ones to address your immediate needs. We know there's a lot of nervousness over starting the school year next week. I myself have 4 children who are all in school, 1 high school, 1 middle school, and 2 elementary. So I understand exactly the nervousness and sort of the wanting of it to start for everyone. They started this week, and it's still, even though it existed in the spring, it's a learning experience for all of us, but we're all here to support. Super excited to be working with the community in the Jefferson South Central area, but also to be able to work with my fellow community of school administrators who I'm learning a lot from. And we're all here to help support all of you, your children, our families, and our schools. So please feel free to reach out. We look forward to working with all of you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the Community of Schools Administrator for the Eagle Rock Highland Park Community of Schools, who's a colleague of mine in local district central, Nella Rocks, and I'm happy to introduce Mr. Titus Campos.
Thank you so much, Carlos, and parents and everyone else who's joining us. Good evening. It's such a pleasure to serve the communities of Eagle Rock, Highland Park, Herman, Mount Washington, and North Glassell Park. So I have my contact information here. We heard Jackie say earlier that your best point of contact, if you do run into any challenges on the first day of school on Tuesday, you can always reach out to your child's principal. If you have some challenges getting in touch with your principal, feel free to reach out to myself. My email is here listed, tcamp1@lausd.net. Like some of the previous websites that you've seen, our Eagle Rock Highland Park COS www.lausd.net has a myriad of resources for parents, for educators, for students. And there's a button that says Spanish. If you click on that button, everything on the screen will translate into Spanish. So there's tons of resources there. Our offices are located on the campus of Yorkdale Elementary at 5657 Meridian Street. So hopefully you can visit us sometime once it's safe to do so. If we can go to the next slide, please. These are some additional hotlines that you might need to take a screenshot of. We heard from Joel earlier, and there's a mental health support hotline here. If you're looking for childcare options, you can go to this website. And the main number that was mentioned previously at the beginning of our webinar, this is it, 213-443-1300. That is the COVID-19 hotline, but other inquiries can be made as well. And we'll go to the next slide. So there's lots of also parent workshops. When you click on our website and you visit and you click under parents, there are many different workshops being offered in English and Spanish on how to work with the Schoology program and other resources for you, other workshops to build your capacity. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Norma Spencer, the Community of Schools Administrator for Glassell Park, Los Feliz.
So I think maybe Norma's not online right now or having difficulty, so I'll jump in.
I was going to say, thank you very much, Dr. Brandy.
Thank you very much for having me here, Ms. Goldberg. Again, I'm Dr. Travis Brandy. I'm the proud administrator of the Hollywood Community of Schools. The Hollywood COS has 3 schools in Board District 5, which are Kingsley, Grant, and Ramona Elementary Schools. And Ramona Elementary School is where our office is located. It's right on the corner of Santa Monica and Mariposa. Our social media and email are listed here on the slide, so you can reach out to us via email if you have any concerns. And my telephone number is 323-210-1050. So that's the COS office, and you can contact that number. I'll also drop that in the chat so that you can get support with your enrollment needs. And without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Susana Gutierrez.
Hello, my name is Susana Gutierrez, and I am the very proud Communities of Schools Administrator for downtown MacArthur Park. I don't know if my slides are available. If not, there we go. Thank you. If you could just take it to the last slide. I just want to share with you as well that we also have our website also contains a lot of important information for all stakeholders, for our parents, our staff, as well as our students. I am really proud to be able to serve Logan Academy through our downtown MacArthur Park Communities of Schools. And I want you to know that we are there and we are ready to serve. And just like my colleague said, please contact your schools, but know that we are here at the center to support you. My email address is here, as well as our lead director, Charles D. Smith, and our numbers and social media accounts. Our website is Downtown MacArthur Park, COS.LAUSD.net, and I look forward to working with the community. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm sorry that everybody had to rush a little there. We had a lot to do, but I want to just thank all of you. We did everybody, right? Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to put up a list of all of the Board District 5 COSs, the Community of Schools, and who they are and where you can reach them. While you're looking at that and taking a screenshot of it, I want to tell you that there has been some recent misinformation about Grab and Go. Grab and Go will not change as to its rules. You do not need to bring identification that the student has a code that has to be seen. That was a mistake, and it is not happening, except for the fact that we'll probably start earlier in the morning so that parents can get food for their kids for breakfast and lunch before school starts at 9 a.m. So grab and go will continue as it has been. You will not need identification. Several people have asked me, can I help other students by tutoring? There's an organization the district is working with called Step Up Tutoring, and their site is www.stepuptutoring.org. If you are interested in volunteering to help our students, because being online is a struggle for so many, and you want to provide tutoring, please go to stepuptutoring.org. Finally, I want to say to everyone, there will be problems. Mistakes will happen. People will not have their IDs. Students will not be able to remember how to log on. This is a different way of life, but it is a way of life that is structured, has meaningful and continuous instruction. Students will be assessed. They will receive grades. We are going to try and make this as much like real school as possible. And I say real school, I mean in-person school. So that means that for some students, their parents will not be around to help them very much because they're back at work. We know that's why we have what's called asynchronous work. That means work that the student can do at any time. And then we have actual instruction. And that goes on between 9 a.m. and 1:15 p.m. on Mondays. Remember, we used to have short Tuesdays for teacher development and professional development, teacher planning. Well, that's been moved to Monday. So the short day of the week is Monday, 9 to 1:15 or 1:20. Tuesday through Friday, it will be 9 a.m. till 2:45 p.m. But that will be sometimes direct instruction, and sometimes it will be instruction by saying, your student can go and do this task or do this homework or read this reading, and they can do it at any time during the day or evening that they want. We will have as much help and support as we can. We're going to provide tutoring, one-on-one tutoring, as soon as we can get everyone organized that wants to help. But know that there will be things that will go wrong, but we will fix them. And that's why I wanted you to meet your community of schools administrators. You remind yourselves that Tuesday you're going to sign on, and your children are going to have a task to do with you in the morning on Tuesday, and in the afternoon they will be able to meet the principal, unless of course they're returning students, and we'll be meeting them. They'll just hear the principal's view of the world and how things are going to go at their school. And then on Wednesday, 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, anytime you can, please try to sign on and look at those tasks that we're asking young people to do with their families. We know that some of you are working and can't do that. Please don't worry about it. But please make sure your children sign on and try to do as much as they can on their own. In the afternoon, they'll meet their teachers. One teacher if they're in elementary probably, but several teachers as they are in secondary. All of this is a part and parcel of thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of administrators, of teachers, of parents, and of students trying to put together a school year during a pandemic that does not leave anyone behind. That's our goal. We will work at it every day. The people that you've met today are all working on this day and night. And I'm going to end where I started. If you haven't been able to get a question answered and you still have questions, bd5info@lausd.net, and we'll find a way to get you an answer. Please make sure if you use that, you let us know how to contact you to get you your answer. And I want to just close by thanking everybody, my wonderful staff that put all of this together, particularly Josh Nooney, but every one of my staff members have worked on it. And then all of these people who have come because they care about your children getting off to the best possible start on Tuesday. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you all who participated as panelists tonight. And with that, I say to you, keep safe, keep healthy. Good night.